Hidden deep in the isolated landscapes of New Zealand lies a community shrouded in secrecy, control, and controversy. It calls itself Gloriavale, a religious sect promising salvation but accused of coercion, abuse, and manipulation. But how does a group like this sustain itself? How do they control their followers? And how does Gloriavale compare to other infamous cults throughout history? Let's uncover the disturbing reality behind this secluded community. Hello, here's Mystery Shack, where we uncover the world's darkest secrets and hidden truths. If you enjoy deep dives into unsettling mysteries, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Now, let's begin. Gloriavale was founded in the late 1960s by Neville Cooper, also known as Hopeful Christian. Claiming to follow a strict interpretation of Christianity, Cooper established a self-sufficient commune where members renounced modern society and dedicated their lives to faith and community. But behind its religious front, stories of rigid control, emotional manipulation, and even criminal allegations began to surface. Cooper himself was convicted in 1995 for sexual abuse, yet his legacy of dominance over the group persisted. Like many cults, Gloriavale thrives on isolation. Members live in a closed-off world, completely cut off from mainstream media, education, and outside influences. They work within the commune for no wages, creating a labor force dependent on the leadership for survival. Education is controlled, teaching obedience rather than critical thinking. The system ensures that questioning authority isn't just discouraged, it's impossible. This method isn't unique to Gloriavale. Groups like the FLDS, led by Warren Jeffs, used similar isolation tactics to control members, restricting education and outside contact to maintain loyalty. The difference? While FLDS enforced polygamy and child marriages, Gloriavale dictates marriages from a young age, ensuring complete control over relationships. In cults, power often flows from a single charismatic leader. Though Neville Cooper is no longer alive, his successors maintain a tight grip over the community. Elders enforce strict gender roles, men as the dominant providers, women as submissive caretakers. Dissent is met with expulsion, meaning members risk losing their families, homes, and entire lives if they choose to leave. This hierarchy resembles the infamous Jonestown cult, where Jim Jones's word was law, or even the Moonies, where arranged marriages were used as a form of control. The idea remains the same. Absolute loyalty to leadership ensures complete submission. Now, listen to some people reflecting on their lives in Gloriavale and why they chose to leave.
In the community,
women are supposed to cook, clean, and do the washing and do household things and have kids. I definitely call it brainwashing, because right from day one you grow up knowing you don't have the option to even think about what you want to do. I would definitely not call the work I did voluntary, because I didn't have any other choice.
Just absolutely appalled by the horrific ways in which the Gloriavale leaders treat their residents.
I was pitied, I was turned away from. People did not want to come and talk to me. My husband was having seizures for 6 months before anyone would believe it. They thought he was making it up. Who would fake having seizures? I was told when I was a little girl that if I was living in the Old Testament times, I would be stoned with rocks constantly.
It was a bit creepy to me, very creepy. The leadership are allowed to touch the girls, anyone they want. By anyone, I mean particularly the single girls, They would be talking to them, giving them cuddle. Anyone who was saying anything in disagreement with the leaders was just totally destroyed. In the life of my wife, I felt like all they cared about was my wife pumping out more and more kids so that they could collect more and more money from the government.
Stand up at the dinner table that evening and publicly apologise in front of 600 people for overcooking the carrots at 14.
So that was public shaming in your mind?
Yeah, absolutely. Public humiliation, a form of control.
They might tell you that you're taking all your children to hell, which for a mother is unbearable to even think about or consider. Say that Gloriavale is a Christian community is wrong. It is a cheap labour camp. By the time they actually get to bearing their children, their bodies are actually physically damaged. I was getting my primary school aged sisters to go to my room in the morning as I worked, and a couple of times they forgot, and I could hear her screaming from where I was working in the kitchen. I know of girls in Gloriavale that couldn't work fast enough or hard enough or put out the same standard of work as other people, and they were picked on, bullied, ostracised. I was over 20 weeks pregnant with my 10th kid. I was still throwing up with morning sickness. I just thought, I want to die, I want to die.
But the question is, how do they manage to control the people? Cults don't just rely on physical isolation, they manipulate the mind. In Gloriavale, the control starts at birth. Children are raised to believe the outside world is evil, dangerous, and destined for damnation. Questioning authority isn't just discouraged. It's considered a betrayal of God Himself. This is a classic psychological technique known as indoctrination, when a belief system is deeply embedded from a young age, making it almost impossible to challenge. Members are surrounded by the same ideas, reinforced daily through the sermons, group activities, and strict gender roles. Another powerful method is fear-based control. Gloriavale teaches that leaving the community means losing salvation. The outside world is painted as corrupt, filled with sin and suffering. The result? Even those who feel trapped are too afraid to escape. Then there's the concept of thought reform, also known as brainwashing. By limiting access to outside media, education, and independent thought, Gloriavale leaders ensure members rely only on their doctrine. This mirrors groups like the Unification Church, Moonies, and Scientology, where controlling information means controlling people. And finally, there's guilt and communal pressure. Members are taught that personal desires must be sacrificed for the greater good. Marriages are arranged, personal choices are restricted, and obedience is rewarded while dissent is punished. Leaving doesn't just mean starting over. It means being shunned by your own family. These aren't just rules. They are psychological chains crafted to keep people obedient and afraid. And just like other cults before it, Gloriavale thrives on one terrifying truth. When the mind is controlled, the body follows. Gloriavale, like all cults, thrives on secrecy, control, and fear. But history tells us that no system of oppression lasts forever. As more survivors come forward, as legal battles intensify, and as the world watches, cracks begin to form in the foundation of this isolated community.